Update. Am I the a-hole for not backing up for my family after my wife giggled at their news? Original post. I 27M have a beautiful wife, Amara 26F. Anyway, on to the situation that happened a week ago. When I was 17, I had a girlfriend who cheated on me for my brother. We were together since kindergarten. Even though our relationship was fake in elementary school and middle school, we decided to make it official in high school. But after a year of making it official, my brother tells me that she and him were seeing each other behind my back. I was extremely hurt, especially since my parents knew, but they thought the relationship was still a playful one, even though I told them the news first. After that, I decided to just focus on school and move out of my parents' house, especially since they didn't have the decency to at least be romantically involved in private. She still tried to apologize and ask if we could be friends, but I just ignored her. After I graduated, I moved to Texas at age 19 and only contacted my family on holidays. After 2 years of being there, I met Amara at a bakery her mother owned, and we became friends, first due to us both having trust issues, but we made it official a year after meeting. The relationship was great. I loved her family, and they loved me. The wedding was absolutely wonderful. Even though my parents and brother didn't come, even though I sent an invitation and called them the day before. And I realized that if my wife were ever in an argument with someone, even if she was wrong, I'd always have her back. Now, a week ago, my mother called me to ask if we could talk. She was on speaker since Amara and I were cooking. She knows about what my family has done and how they backed up my brother, so I didn't mind putting the phone on speaker, since the only conversations I have with my family is about my brother. Well, my mom goes on to tell me how my brother and ex are getting married, and he wants me to be his best man. It was silent for a bit, and Amara burst out with giggles, and I joined in after her. My mom hung up, and I didn't bother calling her back, and enjoyed my night with my wife. The next morning, I was bombarded with angry text from my brother and dad on how I hurt my mother's feeling and made her cry by not telling my wife to not laugh. I don't think I did anything wrong. I technically didn't do anything. But I can somewhat say that it was childish, but it was a spur of the moment. So am I the a-hole for not backing up my mom? Now for the updates. Wow. Hi everyone. I'm here to let everyone know what happened the week after the initial situation. After the week of the incident and many rude texts from my brother and father, I decided to contact my brother and told him how it was unfair to not come to my wedding, but then ask me to come to his. Well, some of you were spot on. My brother didn't want to come to my wedding, so my mother made up a lie instead of telling the truth. And he never asked for me to be his best man, nor was I even invited. I called my mother and asked her what the hell was going on, and she told me that she just wanted her sons to get along again. Even if I were to accept the now fake offer, the situation would have gone way worse since I wasn't invited. I've decided, for the sake of my wife and I's future, I will be limiting contact with my side of the family. I've also mentioned in the comments that my wife is pregnant, so I have that to look forward to, instead of a shit show. Amara and I also appreciate the kind words from some of you. Update 2. I think I posted the first update last night or yesterday, I don't remember. But hello. Again, the situation has now spread from just my wife and I to my wife's side of the family. A friend of my ex found the post, and I guess the news spread like wildfire, and I was now getting texts from my immediate family and my ex and brother's friends. I've ignored it at first until some really hurtful things was said about my wife regarding her family and pregnancy, which caused my wife to have a panic attack since she couldn't calm down. I don't know if I could say what they said, since it was very harsh and racist. I've now gone from limited texts to ignoring my whole family. I've decided to turn my phone off altogether, but I do appreciate every one of you, but I'm going to take this time to spend it with my wife and her family. We are now focusing on the pregnancy and getting things ready for 9 months of fun and weird cravings. Update 2. Hello, exactly 21 days ago. I've made a decision that has been the best decision of my life. I'm just giving a small update. 1, my family is no longer in my life. 2, my wife read the post and comments, and she loves all of you, but was upset that I said she giggled. She wanted me to clear it up and let you all know it was a full cackle. 3, our little baby is growing and healthy. hoping for a girl. But that's all. Once again, thank you all. We love you. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to move my wedding dates because my sister is pregnant? No post. So, I'm in a bit of a weird situation. My fiance and I aren't the most traditional and wanted to have our wedding as more of a family vacation with the bonus of a wedding. My parents have a beautiful lakefront house that we decided to have our wedding at. When we were initially planning our wedding and figuring out dates, I wanted to have it on June 26th. The 26th was important to us because that's the day my fiance and I first met. But when speaking it over to my family, my sister said no because she already had a vacation on that date. I was sad, but it wasn't the end of the world, so we decided on June 4th to June 9th. Everything was working out perfectly. I let both of our families know to put our wedding down for those date and started wedding planning. It was all perfect until last night. I got a FaceTime from my dad who showed me the ultrasound, and I was super excited. All of the congratulations, jumping around because I'm going to be an auntie. I'm so excited for them and for my future niece or nephew. But it all came crashing down when I asked my sister when she is due, and she said, May 1st, so we're going to have to talk about your wedding. I assumed she just meant that she wasn't going to be able to be in attendance. So I told them that it's okay, we can just FaceTime them in, and her jaw dropped. Then my mom said, we can just push it back to September. I knew my emotions would get the best of me, so I said we can talk about it later. So we went back to congratulations and thinking of baby names. After the call, I can't lie, I had a bit of a breakdown. I already moved my dates once to accommodate my sister, which was all fine, and I didn't push back on it. But after 7 months of planning our wedding around this date and having my fiancé family plan around it, I don't want to change it. Unfortunately, I know my family, and they will push for me to move it and will disrespect my decision not to. I know traveling with a newborn baby is going to be hard, which is why I offer up FaceTiming her in, but it seems like that's offensive to them to not want my sister to be present at the wedding. I feel so insanely guilty about being upset over having to change my wedding dates because my sister is pregnant. She's bringing a beautiful new family member into our lives, but I'm still a bit heartbroken that if I don't change the wedding date, that I will be seen as inconsiderate and an asshole in my family. So am I the asshole for not wanting to punch back my wedding because my sister is pregnant? Now for the update. So, a lot has happened in the past few days. I called my brother the day after I made my post. He understood where I was coming from and told me that I should absolutely not change my wedding date. So since I was worried about speaking to my mom and being ganged up on, we planned on when to speak to my mom about not wanting to change my fiancé's and I's wedding dates so he could be there to talk to my mom on my behalf. My emotions got the best of me. That didn't happen. My mom called me the next day to talk it over. I informed her that I was not going to change my wedding date, and she was upset initially, but surprisingly receptive to it. I was extremely happy about that until she said, "You need to talk to your sister about this because she's not going to be happy about being forced out 1 month postpartum." I explained I wasn't forcing her to be in attendance. Then my mom said, "No, she's coming to your wedding. I don't care if she's a new mom." After that, I got in a bit of an argument with my mom about her forcing my sister to do something that isn't the best for her and her future family, which I ended hanging up on her. I don't take being spoken to in a harsh tone easily and will tell the other person to take a minute to reevaluate their tone and come back. During the call, she also let slip that she was also extremely disappointed in me for going to my brother for support instead of her and said I was just creating family drama for no reason. Which it is what it is. I needed a family perspective, which is why I called my brother. I ended up trying to call my sister the next day, which was declined. So I texted her and informed her that I would not be changing my wedding dates. It was a lot longer of a text, explains reasons and emotions. She replied a day later with, "You and I both know that your wedding dates aren't officially set, and the only factor would be communicating the change to fiancé's family. I hope the hassle is worth having my and your literal niece or nephew's presence." I explained that I have already put money down on multiple things, as well as having my fiance's family planning accommodating around this date for 7 months. She was not receptive, in my opinion, and said, "There are really no excuses. You have the power to move the date even just a little later in the summer to include me, and you're choosing not to. That hurts." Which I ended up responding that I'm not choosing to not have her at my wedding, but understand she may not be able to come and will have to FaceTime in instead, as well as explain that I already moved my wedding date once to accommodate her. I asked her to try to put herself in my shoes and how she would have felt if I asked to push back her wedding, which she replied, "I would have moved my date in a heartbeat. That's the difference between us." At that point, I decided to offer up pushing it back to the 26th of June, as some comments said, to see if she would still be going to her previously planned vacation, which thank God I did, because she told me she couldn't do the 26th, as she's still going to go on her vacation, 20 days after my wedding. I'm not the most knowledgeable about babies, since I don't have one and have only known my BFF baby, but I don't feel like there's a huge difference between traveling with a 1-month-old and a 1.5-month-old. So that solidified in my mind that she doesn't care about me, my fiance, or our feelings, but still expects everyone to accommodate to her. At this point, as per my fiance's advice, I'm putting it in the F it drawer in my head, and I'm not going to stress about it anymore because everyone knows the date is set. If my family would like to show up to my wedding, that would be amazing, but if not, I'm not going to be upset. At the end of the day, this will just show me who to prioritize as family in my life, because family is not always blood.